What's up, mother truckers? Thralls of Metal back again. I'm Shredlord
and Necrotic Nick,
and we are here to bring you the new album by Allegaeon, Damnum.
So needless to say, we definitely had this on our radar because if you go back to 2019, we reviewed their last one and we fucking enjoyed it.
Apoptosis was a killer record.
Dude, genuine fucking riff farm, lead farm. I still remember his, look on his face when he heard it. Like, dude, I really fucking like this.
It was a masterpiece. Tech Death Mastery.
Oh, awesome. So this one comes out on the 25th on Metal Blade Records. This is the 6th album from this band, formed in 2008 in Denver, Colorado, and tech death, melodic death metal, and now I would firmly say progressive metal too. This band has gone through a lot of different lineup changes over the years, but Greg Burgess has been pretty much the guy at the helm of this the entire time, and this project has been slowly evolving over time. And while the last album was definitely just them playing what they do extraordinarily well, this is definitely them kind of broadening their sound a lot. And honestly, you hear it kind of right from the rip with Bastards of the Earth. Opens pretty much with a nice acoustic melody, kind of building the tension, and acoustic stuff is all over this, and I really enjoyed that. But it goes full tilt into black metal almost. Yeah. And that was an element that really was not on any of their other releases, honestly.
Upon first listen of the opening track, hearing the Tremolo picked chorus line and thinking that already, I don't know, maybe a minute and a half into this song, we're already getting some variances that we didn't get from 2019's Apoptosis. And immediately I was kind of excited to see what other elements found their way into this album. And there was definitely some new tricks for these old dogs, and what a way to incorporate it into their style too.
Yeah, I don't know if I would call this experimental, but I would say like this is definitely them broadening their sound. When you get down to a track like To Carry My Grief Through Torpor and Silence, we had to look up what torpor was, and it's
lethargy, or
fancy word.
Yeah,
but this song has a very brutal start, and God, man, when these guys get heavy, it's almost brutal death metal heavy, but with melodic hooks, and it's a really cool contrast. But you also get this cool Spanish guitar section with bass noodles, and this is kind of a wrinkle that really wasn't there before, like this kind of experimenting with more proggy soundscapes. Of Beasts and Worms actually has a Hammond organ that comes in there. That wasn't there before. And instantly, like, this is kind of already different, but of course it's still Allegaeon, like immediately recognizable. They still do everything that they do well in here. It's just there's a lot more going on, and it's a lot of fun.
One thing I noticed was more inclusive sounds to things like Opeth, Pre-Heritage, and maybe even a little Devin Townsend project at times between the Buried and Me a little bit. I mean, there's a piano solo in here.
Yeah.
For God's sake, and it works really well. It didn't sound forced. Saxophones started making their way in. Now we're getting pianos, and I'm okay with it. As long as it works, it works. A track called Home, which arguably is my favorite.
It's so good.
It recalls a lot of Ghost Reveries type era Opeth to me, and even draws some memories of Ghosts of Perdition. It was really cool to hear Riley, I don't know his last name, but he's also another Riley. He's a great metal vocalist. Like, already if you took his cleans out of this, when I'm going to talk about them, from a growling standpoint, he does a really good job. The first song I ever heard of these guys was their cover of Rush's Subdivisions, and he does some singing on there as well, and I thought to myself that he did a really good job, yet we really didn't get to hear that so much in their actual music. Now we are. And what a great job these clean vocals are. They never get cheesy.
No.
Never. It never becomes too much.
And the main thing is, I think they just kind of let him go wild. Like, he unleashes pretty much what I assume is his full range. If he's holding back on anything, I'd be shocked. The cleans are excellent. He shows a great range in the cleans, but he has flat-out brutal growls. Like, these growls you would associate with, like suffocation levels of heaviness. And it does have, appropriate moments that get pretty much that heavy on here. But you also have these blackened shrieks to complement the more blackened atmosphere that pops up in here occasionally, too. Especially on the Dopamine Void Part 2 and Saturnine. Like, they have clear, big black metal presence, and he has this really cool scream, almost kind of shout, and it's nice and staticky. Riley, surprisingly kind of became like kind of a centerpiece on here, because generally it's a lot of Burgess's lead work and riffs that I'm usually really hypnotized by, and the vocals generally complement the heaviest aspects of the track because you really don't get a lot of clean vocals before. Now, Riley is right up front stealing the show along with Greg, and honestly the rest of the band, because bass work's fantastic, the drum work is fucking mechanical. So I feel like this is just them kind of upping the ante quite a bit here.
Now, if there's one thing that drew me to this band immediately when I heard them was the guitars. Not only how great I thought the lead work was, but how good the riffs were and how good they sounded. The tones are excellent. Greg Burgess, if you ever watch this video, you are incredibly underrated motherfucker. And for those of you that don't know this guy and are a guitar player, go check him out, go check their music out. When I listen to this album, I kind of see it as a blend of a guy like Michael Romeo and even Ollie Herbert. I love both of those dudes. Ollie Herbert would still be one of the baddest boys on the block. Rest in peace, man. But that mixture, because what makes those guys is they have incredibly tight chops, incredibly fast, precise, like just surgically accurate chops. But they always deliver them with feel and passion. It never becomes cold. And so even though there's this surgical precision in the way they execute their leads, the feel never leaves. So to be able to combine both those things, in my opinion, is a pretty rare thing. And this cat has it all, and he is an absolute fucking joy to listen to.
And when you look at the songwriting as a whole on here, like, you can hear how much these guys have in their wheelhouse. Like, the opening to Blight is probably one of the most brutal sections on the entire album, but there's a lot of soft and subdued stuff and lots of atmosphere. Like, the acoustic play, I think, is particularly good. And I love hearing that gift for melody, but when you need to dial it in and just fucking get heavy as possible, these guys know how to do it, and they know how to transition from one moment to one moment. And that's kind of a thing on this album versus maybe the last one or even the last few, is I think this explores more moods.
Yes.
Like, the other ones are kind of like a bullet train of just awesome riffs and leads, and they're fucking great, and I love them. This one is kind of like a dark, dreary adventure. Like, the two-parter, the Dopamine Void, the first part is all acoustic, clean vocals, and you have this really cool, like, kind of dark, dreary feel to it. And then when you get to the second part, it gets much heavier, but it repeats the vocal lines, so it keeps those songs connected. And I don't know, unfortunately, often we've seen like two-parters, like, yeah, this is part two because we couldn't think of his name.
Because it is, and there's no logical explanation.
This is connected. And when it comes down to those mood shifts, Only Lost, the last track, it's dark, it's brooding, like, it kind of feels a little doomy, but out of nowhere comes this beaming fucking light, this soaring, triumphant fucking chorus from Riley, and that one really kind of gave me like the Devin Townsend sort of feel. Like, everything became lush and epic, and then right back down to the depths of darkness. But wow, like, that was something I really didn't get on, you know, the other albums, just because I think, again, Riley's clean vocals were kind of used sparingly, and trying to find like melodies that would complement those, like, most of that was just super heavy. Now they have this whole other range in terms of exploring sounds, and holy shit, they're doing a good job.
Yeah, and even sprinkling things in. Most of the tracks range, I don't know, about 4 or 5 minutes per se. Nothing ever really drags on or carries on too much. They didn't drone on anything or let anything carry over, and for an album being about an hour, it stayed exciting pretty much throughout the whole time. But pieces like In Mourning, which is the second to last track, which is a short piece, you know, more kind of clean classical guitar lines, when I listen to those, I kind of think of Jeff Waters.
Yeah, a little bit.
And to me, the greatest clean heavy metal song, or acoustic clean heavy metal song of ever, is Crystal Ann off Alice in Hell. If you've never heard Crystal Ann from Alice in Hell, you are missing out. A beautiful fucking guitar piece.
It's pretty.
Jeff Waters just wrote a masterpiece. And yeah, those kind of sprinklings in of old things that I hold near and dear to me is kind of cool too, because that's how my brain works. When I hear something, it draws me in to think of something else, you know?
Yeah, I think about the only issue I had with this, and it was so goddamn minor, because I thoroughly just enjoyed listening, because this whole album is a journey, and that's kind of a prog thing I like. Saturnine, I love that track. I like the blackened feel to it. In fact, it kind of reminded me a lot of like Dissection and Sacramentum, like, just in terms of that cold but really melodic feel. Like the tremolo harmonies are gorgeous. Riley takes on more of the brutal death vocals on that, and the entire time I was like, man, if he just used that blackened kind of, you know, growl, scream, I think that would fit it so much better. But that was the only part on here where I thought, like, man, this doesn't quite mesh up as well as it could, but it was still awesome. I usually bitch about interlude tracks, but I think In Mourning is very pretty. And I mean, honestly, this is pretty much all killer, no filler, and for an hour-long album, that's kind of difficult because generally it kind of starts running together at some point, but these guys varied up the tracks enough. And again, new dynamics, stuff you weren't expecting on here. It kept this super fucking fresh.
I think overall, I got to give this a 4.5 out of 5. I could not believe, well, I guess I could believe, but you never know what to expect. I was very quickly into this album and it never let its foot off the gas. From start to finish, it was packed with surprises, old favorites, and a variety of new melodies, sounds, leads, and growls and sings that fucking kick ass, man. It is not that it's worldly better than their 2019 Apoptosis album. It's just a little bit different. It still has all the things that we loved about this band prior to this album, but now they're starting to spread their wings a little bit and show you that there's a little bit more in the toolbox than what they've shown so far. And they did an excellent job of making those changes without doing too much of it, without going to the extreme side. Yeah. So once again, 4.5 out of 5. This is heavy, this is melodic, this kicks ass, and from front to back, this was a solid listen.
I am going to go ahead with a 4.5 too. I will say that it does let off the gas, but it lets off the gas in a cool way to take in the scenery and the ambiance, because again, there was a lot more to this than I was initially expecting. Like, pretty much from this point on, Allegaeon's been super consistent. They have a very particular style, and they haven't deviated much from it. They've only gotten better at what they were already doing. This throws a whole new wrinkle into it, and holy shit, they executed it really well. The inclusion of progressive elements, like not just technical elements, but actually progressive songwriting, and like some black metal here and there, this really kind of added a lot to it. Like, it became less of that blitz of just awesome riffs and leads. It became, I don't know, like just epic songwriting. The fact that they let Riley go, I think, is one of the most important factors, because those clean vocals and his already impressive range and harsh vocals adds a whole bunch to this as well. This band really stepped up, and I fucking loved the last one. And honestly, I love pretty much all of their albums. But this is kind of off in its own separate category, I think, because it is different, but it's still in that comfort zone where you would instantly recognize that this is Allegaeon. If you were already a giant fan of this band, you will probably remain a giant fan of this band, because all those elements you already liked are still there. This, again, a little bit different, a little bit more broad, and I think maybe in a way better. I look forward to future releases from this in this newer direction. Go get this. This album is fucking awesome, and I can't wait to see this band live sometime.
So, if you liked the review, please drop us a like, and if you are not subscribed to the channel, please go down and hit that subscribe button. We would greatly appreciate it, and also we would love to welcome you into the Thralls of Metal community. Guess what? We have some new merchandise, don't we, Necrotic?
Yes,
please tell them about it.
Well, first off, we have a giveaway going on, and that will include our new merchandise, which is a kick-ass shirt, which you can order at thrallsofmetal.com. There will be a link below to that, as well as the link to the giveaway. The giveaway will include one of those shirts, as well as a limited pressing of Alien Weaponry's new album on vinyl, and a $100 gift card to Bandcamp, because go spend some fucking money on some killer bands. That's what we want you to do.
But only on Fridays.
Only on Fridays. So
only on Fridays, so they get all the money.
Get all the fucking money. But yeah, whenever we hit 10,000 subscribers, which we are a little bit over 200 away from it, which is fucking crazy.
Phenomenal.
We're going to do a little randomizer, pick a winner, and we will announce it on the channel. And thank you to everyone that has got us this far so far. And it's been a fucking wild ride. We look forward to doing this. We look forward to fucking talking about all sorts of crazy metal shit.
Thanks for spending part of your day with us.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely hang out with worse people. You could
do definitely better, but...
Oh, yeah. We're glad you
could
don't.
absolutely do worse.
Yeah. Don't do that much better, though, because you'll leave us alone and we'll miss you.
I'll cry.
He'll cry. So with that, thank you all once again, and we will catch you later.